let the world know. World of Israel. Snap your fingers, snap them. Snap your fingers, snap them. World of Israel. Snap your fingers, snap them. Ain't nobody greater, ain't nobody greater. You say that you love him, but you won't even keep his laws to save your life. You say that you need him, but when problems arise, you try to solve it your way. Yeah. You say that you wanna go back with him. I know that that's a fact, but what is the use when you won't serve him? I advise you to serve the Lord right now. The Most High is the best. Ain't nobody greater. We'll help you through your test. Ain't nobody greater. It's Lord God, oh yeah. When problems knock you down, we won't let you hit the ground. So please just remember this. Ain't nobody greater. You say that there's nothing wrong with breaking God's laws. You say that there's nothing wrong, and nothing bad will happen to you. But don't you know if you're gonna repent? But don't you know you're gonna die? But don't you know you're gonna die? But don't you know you're gonna die? But don't you know? But if you repent, but don't you know to save your life? But don't you know you're gonna rise? The Most High is the best. Ain't nobody greater. We'll help you through your test. Ain't nobody greater. It's Lord God, oh yeah. This is high. When problems knock you down, when it gets hard. So please just remember this. Ain't nobody greater. Sometimes in our lives we will make mistakes, but you gotta pray. He who overcomes will inherit all things. God says, for all have sinned and have fallen short of the glory of God. God searches the heart and he searched the mind. He treats you as you are and not what you pretend to be. The Most High is the best. Ain't nobody greater. We'll help you through your test. Ain't nobody greater. It's Lord God, oh yeah. This is how problems knock you down. We won't let you hit the ground. So please just remember this. Ain't nobody greater. Ain't nobody greater. Ain't nobody greater.
Okay. We getting ready to get started. And I'd like to say shalom and good evening to everyone. I'm Achaz Viraj Etna Amihud of the tribe of Judah. I am the chief ambassador of the Second March to Exodus movement. I would like to welcome you all to the Second March to Exodus movement conference, which is held each Tuesday and Thursday at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, the Most High willing. Before we get started, I would like to give all praises to the Most High, Ahaya, Be'eshem Yeshaya, Ha Messiah, Ruach, Kodash, and to say a prayer to bring us into the Second March to Exodus conference. Touch us, Most High, Ahaya. Fill us up with your light and your hope. Please give us strength when we are weak, love when we feel forsaken, courage when we are afraid, wisdom when we feel foolish, comfort when we are alone, hope when we feel rejected, and peace when we are in turmoil. Oh, Most High, our motivation Oh, Most High, we are weary. Our energy is sagging, and our motivation is lagging. And we are so in need of you. We need your strength and your fresh touch to get back on track again. Your word says, the joy of the Most High is my strength. If that's true, then we need your joy to replace all the bone-tired parts of our mind, body, and souls. So be it. After I'm done speaking, I will be opening the mic for questions. Please raise your hand by tapping on the word more and 3 dots at the bottom of your screen, and then tap the raise hand button. Okay, you all may want to get a pencil or a pen and paper to take down notes. There's going to be some great information given tonight. Today's topic is, as a live, breathing, flesh and blood Israelite, what do we do when stopped by police corporate code enforcers while lawfully traveling in our privately owned automobiles? This meeting is basically part 2 of what we discussed in the last meeting on October the 24th. As an Israelite, what shall you do when stopped by police corporate code enforcers? The first thing a corporate code enforcer may do when initiating a traffic stop with you is ask you for your corporate driver's license and registration. When I say corporate driver's license and registration, I mean their governmental driver's license that you may or may not be carrying, and the registration contract you use to turn over your privately owned, not for hire, non-commercial automobile to the government. What is the definition of driver's license? Well, I was unable to find the definition of for driver's license in the Black Law Dictionary, free online legal dictionary, 2nd edition. For those of you that don't know know about Black Law's Dictionary, Black Law Dictionary is a dictionary that all judges use for secondary source of law. It gives lawful definition and meaning of words. Every one of you should have the 1st through 11th edition. It comes in handy because they lie a lot given in regards to definition of words. So since I couldn't find driver's license in the Black Laws Dictionary 2nd edition, I decided to separate the 2 words. I went back to Black's Law Dictionary, free online legal dictionary, 2nd edition, to check for the word driver. Guess what? According to Black's Law free online legal dictionary, 2nd edition, driver means, get this, one employed. A driver means one employed in conducting a coach, carriage, wagon, or other vehicle with horses, mules, or other animals, or a bicycle, tricycle, or motor vehicle. That's important right there, the word motor vehicle. But we ain't, well, no, keep it there. Word motor vehicle. Though not a street railroad car, we shall be discussing motor vehicle further in the discussion. So after I did my research on the word driver, I went to Black's Law Dictionary, free online legal dictionary, 2nd edition, to find the meaning of the word license. Black's Law Dictionary, free online legal dictionary, 2nd edition, has the word license defined as 1, a permission, 2, revocable, 3, to commit some act that would otherwise be unlawful. So a driver's license is consistent with an employed semi-truck driver with a commercial driver's license, which is CDL, an employed taxi driver with a CDL, and an airplane pilot, etc., that are employed, carries passengers for hire. So what we get from these definition of the words driver license is that when a corporate code enforcer acts a federal and state regulated, incorporated, Black and or African American, etc. slave for a driver's license, they are asking a federal and state regulated so-called Black and or African American corporate fiction to show them they are employed by the corporate government and given permission to drive a motor vehicle through a commercial driver's license that can be revoked by the same ones that gave them the permission. That's right. If we're not in our proper status, then we are in a federal and state regulated, incorporated, Black and or African American, etc. slave. That's right. Federal and state regulated, incorporated, Black and or African American slave, status employed by the government. We are the property of the government that can do whatever they want with their property, even murder them with impunity, even murder so-called Blacks, African Americans with impunity, place them in jail and or in prison for 30 years to life for a victimless matter, like for a traffic violation or for stealing a sandwich. Make no mistake, we Israelites are not the only ones in this situation. Our oppressors have their own people, so-called white people, Edomites, as federal and state regulated incorporated slaves also. The only difference between the government's federal and state regulated incorporated Black and or African American, etc. slaves, and its so-called white people, Edomite federal and state regulated incorporated slaves, as we all know, they take better care of the so-called white people, Edomites, federal and state regulated incorporated slaves, than it does its federal and state regulated incorporated Black and or African American slaves. It places in jail and or in prison for 30 years or more, or for life, or it murders with impunity. Black and white is what you call corporate color of law. According to Black's Law Dictionary, free online legal dictionary, 2nd edition, color of law means with the apparent authority of law, but actually conflicts with the law. That means that the so-called federal and state regulated incorporated Black and or African American, etc. slaves, and the so-called federal and state regulated incorporated white slaves actually conflict with the law. According to Genesis chapter 15, verse 13, the Most High Ahia said that we Israelites would be surety for our oppressors. We becoming federal and state regulated incorporated Black and or African American slaves is actually, it's biblical. Genesis chapter 15, verse 13 says, and he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. Well, guess what? Our ancestors of the tribe Judah, Benjamin, and half of the tribe Levi came to Jamestown, Virginia, here in the United States of America and other parts of the world in 1619 by slave ships during the transatlantic slave trade, according to Deuteronomy 28:68. Deuteronomy 28:68 says, and the Most High shall bring thee into Egypt, meaning bondage, again with ships, by the way whereof I spoke unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen. According to Black's Law Dictionary, free online legal dictionary, 2nd edition, it has the definition of the word surety as one at the request of another, and for the purpose of securing to him a benefit, becomes responsible for the performance by the latter of some act in favor of the third person or property as security therefore. So therefore, you see, as federal and state regulated incorporated Blacks and or African Americans, etc., We are regulated, incorporated slaves of the federal and state governments until we declare otherwise. And my brothers, it's time to make that declaration. Because from 1619 to 2019 equals 400 years. This is 2019. And Genesis chapter 15, verse 13 is completed. However, Genesis chapter 15, verse 14 must now be completed. Genesis chapter 15, chapter 15, verse 14 says, and also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterwards shall they come out with great substance. Yeah. The second march to Exodus movement is part of the Most Highest judgment on the United States. The United States of America and other nations of the world. We must come out with our great substance. Federal Reserve notes do not carry any substance. Only silver and gold carry substance. That's what we Israelites, that's what we want. We want our silver and gold. Now let us focus on the key word motor vehicle. What is a motor vehicle? According to 40 Code of Federal Regulations, CFR 85.1703, the definition of motor vehicle is a vehicle which is self-propelled and capable of transporting a person or persons or any material or any permanently or temporarily affixed apparatus shall be deemed a motor vehicle. We Israelites do not drive a federal regulated motor vehicle. We travel in a privately owned, not for hire, and non-commercial automobile. Only federal and state regulated incorporated Black and or African American slaves and federal and state regulated incorporated white slaves drives federal regulated motor vehicles. By law, there's a difference between motor vehicle and automobile. The two terms, motor vehicle and automobile, are interchangeable generally. And an automobile is something we free Israelites privately own, do not lend out for hire, and lawfully travel in with guests, not passengers. You know, so when you are traveling with your children, your husband, your wife, those are guests. They're not passengers. Passengers pay a fee to travel. I mean, to be driven somewhere. So, you know, a motor vehicle is the opposite of an automobile and considered a commercial vehicle that a federally and state regulated so-called Black and or African American corporations have been legally employed and given permission to drive by the government, to which the federal and state governments can more easily attach corporate regulations. See? So are we Israelites federal and state regulated employees, so-called Blacks and or African American corporate fictional drivers carrying corporate fictional passengers for a fee? Nah, we are sovereign Israelite dual American national republics, traveling in our privately owned, not for hire, but for pleasure, automobile with guests, not passengers. Now let us focus on the key word automobile. What is an automobile? According to case law, American Mutual Liberty Insurance Company versus Chaput, which is CHAPUT, an automobile, the word automobile connotes a pleasure vehicle. See, that's a pleasurable vehicle designed for the transportation of persons on the highways. Oh yeah, did any of you know that according to United States Code 13102 B11, your privately owned, not for hire, non-commercial automobile is part of your household goods. Yeah, just like furniture. Your automobile is just like furniture. It's considered furniture. It's not, yeah, according to the United States Code 13102 B11, Household goods, freight forwarder. The term household goods freight forwarder means a freight forwarder of one or more of the following items: household goods, and unaccompanied baggage, or used automobiles. According to case law, U.S. versus Bomber, that's Bomar, a soldier's personal automobile is part of his household goods. So what are we sovereign Israelites doing registering our privately owned, not for hire, and non-commercial automobile household goods with the federal and state governments? What is the definition of registration? According to the Law Dictionary, Black's Law Dictionary, free online legal dictionary, second edition, registration is the recording, inserting in an official register, the act of making a list, catalog, schedule, or register, particularly of an official character, or of making entries therein. That means if you register your privately owned not for hire, non-commercial automobile with the government, it's no longer considered your privately owned, not for hire, non-commercial automobile. According to the law of California, chapter 13, commercial vehicles, 13.010, commercial vehicle definition. A commercial vehicle is a vehicle required to be registered, which is used or maintained for the transportation of persons for hire. See, listen to that. For hire, compensation or profit, or design, used or maintained primarily for the transportation of property. The following vehicles may be registered as passenger or commercial: multi-purpose vehicles, passenger type vehicles transporting persons for hire. That's important. You notice it keeps saying transporting persons for hire. Pickup trucks with a camper permanently attached. Station wagons. It's the same when you sign the birth certificate and social security card, signing your child over to the government. When the government feel that you did something wrong, like disciplining your child, you will find the Child Protective Service at your door. However, it says nothing about registering your privately owned, not for hire, non-commercial automobile, household goods. So we Israelites travel and are travelers. So what is travel and travelers? The term travel is significant. The term travel and traveler are usually construed in the broad and general sense, so as to include all those who rightfully use the highways vertically when being reimbursed for expenses, and who have occasion to pass over them from the purpose of business, conveyance, or pleasure. According to Bevere's Law Dictionary, 1914, pages 3309, a traveler is one who passes from place to place, whether for pleasure, instruction, business, or health. According to the Century Dictionary, page 2034, travel means to journey or to pass through or over as a country, district, road, etc. To go from one place to another, whether on foot, on horseback, or in any conveyance, as a train, an automobile, carriage, ship, or aircraft, make a journey. Therefore, the term travel or traveler refers to one who uses a conveyance to go from one place to another, and includes all who use the roads as a matter of right. Note that right to travel is without qualification, and its application to the common and ordinary traveler is not conditional upon his choice of conveyance to travel. It's to pass or make a journey from place to place, whether on foot, on horseback, or any conveyance. So what the corporate code enforcers are doing when they ask you for that corporate driver's license and registration, they are asking you for their property. Once you give them that information, you are saying and agreeing that you are also their property inside their jurisdiction. The second march to Exodus movement is spiritually created by the Most High, Ahaya Be'Shem Yeshaya, Ha-Messiah, Wa Ruach Ha-Kadash, to bring the dry bones back alive, according to Ezekiel chapter 37, verses 1 through 14. So what should you as biblical Israelites do when stopped by code enforcers? The first thing you do is switch statuses and switch on your phone, your video camera. What I mean when I say switch status is that you switch from corporate to your Israelite live self. Make sure you let the corporate code enforcers know that you are videotaping the encounter. Make sure that you videotape until you can't videotape any longer. When the corporate code enforcer asks you for their governmental corporate driver's license and registration, the second thing you're going to do is ask them, are you being detained or are you free to go? If the code enforcer don't answer your question, continue to ask them the question, are you being detained or are you free to go, until they do answer your question. If they say that you are being detained, but never say why you are being detained, the third thing you're going to do is ask them, what crime are you being accused of committing? Continue to ask that question until the corporate code enforcers answer that question. If they answer your question and give you an alleged crime you supposedly committed, the fourth thing you're going to do is ask them, who is the victim? Who have you harmed? Let the corporate code enforcer know that in order for there to be a crime, there must be a victim. And you would like to know, who is the victim? Who have you harmed? The corporate code enforcer may say you harmed the state in which he stopped you stopped you, and the state is the victim. You will say there is no way you could have harmed the state. The state cannot be harmed, nor can the state bring a charge against you, because the state is a fiction and you're not a fiction. You may tell the corporate code enforcer that you have not committed any crime. Traffic violations are civil infractions in nature. They are not crimes. There is no victim. If there is no victim, there is no crime. And you're going to say, could you please get your supervisor out here? You may tell the corporate code enforcer that you are a traveler and not a corporate driver or an operator employed by the government with permission to carry passengers. Although you may have a corporate driver's license, could you please get your supervisor out here? At this moment in time, I would like to assert my right to travel in my privately owned, not for hire, non-commercial automobile household property. I am not driving or operating a motor vehicle for hire in commerce or transporting any paying passengers. I do not wish for you to turn my right into a privilege. Please get your supervisor. The fifth thing you're going to do is give the corporate code enforcer your sovereign Hebrew name and your sovereign biblical Israelite tribal wallet and badge identification, whichever one you may be carrying with you at the time. If the corporate code enforcers insist that you give them their corporate driver's license and threaten you with arrest, those of you with corporate driver's license may make the call to give them their corporate driver's license and registration. However, you do not have to give them anything. It's your call. If they arrest you and tow your car, you can always get it back because you have the paperwork. We will sue the corporate code enforcers and counterclaim them in court for lack of standing, lack of real party and interest, lack of subject matter jurisdiction, lack of personal proper persona jurisdiction, and for damages. This is the only time you will comply with Matthew's chapter 5, verse 25. Agree with thy adversary quickly while they are in the way with him, lest at any time the adversary deliver thee to the judge, and the judge deliver thee to the officer, and thou be cast into prison. Those of us without our oppressor's corporate driver's license and registrations connected to our privately owned, not for hire, non-commercial automobile, like me, understand that we may be threatened with arrest and actually stand a chance of being arrested, and our privately owned, not for hire, non-commercial automobile, household goods unlawfully towed. Do not fear. Do not fear, my brothers. We must turn our fear into courage and stand up for the glory of the Most High, Ahaya, and the 12 tribes of Israel as the warrior that we are. Remember what the word says in Matthew chapter 10, verses 19 through 20. But when they deliver ye up, take no thought how or what ye shall speak, for it shall be given you in that same hour what ye shall speak. For it is not ye that speak, but the Spirit of your Father which speaketh in you. According to the Most High Ahaya, we are dying as so-called federal and state regulated employees, so-called blacks, and or African American corporate fictions. If we Israelites don't stand for something, then we Israelites shall fall for anything. Those of us who stand for nothing fall for anything. When we as Israelites stand for nothing, then we Israelites shall fall for everything, as we have been doing and dying as so-called federal and state regulated employees, so-called blacks, and our African Americans corporate fictions. The Most High Ahaya has stated in Psalms chapter 82, verse 6, I have said ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High, but ye shall die like men and fall like one of the princes. I tell you, my brothers, we must stand up for what we know is right. The Most High Ahaya would not have me to ask you to do something that he has not had me to do myself. I personally have gone through the process, been placed in jail, and lost my privately owned, not for hire, non-commercial automobile household goods in 2016 in the state of Ohio, and have videos showing this incident. I am now in the federal court of Cincinnati, Ohio, suing officials of Ohio for bringing false charges against me for lawfully traveling in my privately owned, not for hire, non-commercial automobile, which is part of my household goods, and for towing my privately owned, not for hire, non-commercial automobile I have not gotten back. So don't think that declaring our true sovereign Israelite and dual American National Republic nationalities is going to be a cakewalk. Nevertheless, the word I give to you to speak to the code enforcers are not from me, but from the Most High Ahaya. What the Most High Ahaya is having us to do through this second March to Exodus movement is no different than when the Most High Ahaya sent Moses and Aaron to Pharaoh on many occasions, demanding that he let our ancestors go to show his power, according to Exodus chapter 5, verse 1, Exodus chapter 7, verse 16, Exodus chapter 9, verse 1, and Exodus chapter 10, verse 1. I want you all to remember that the Messiah said in what the Messiah said in Matthew chapter 10, verses 19 through 20. But when they deliver you up, take no thought of how or what ye shall speak, for it shall be given you in that same hour what ye shall speak. For it is not ye that speak, but the Spirit of your Father which speaketh in you. You know, there's another brother that's with us tonight. His name is Yashar'al. That brother has gone through the same thing I've gone through. That brother has had 2 vehicles taken, you know, and he has gone to jail on numerous occasions. but that brother has stood strong. You know, he has stood strong, and he needs support. That's why we must come together in unity. Make no mistake, we will sue the corporate code enforcers by counterclaim and anyone a part of the bogus claim brought against us in court for lack of standing, lack of a real party and interest, lack of subject matter jurisdiction, lack of personal proper persona jurisdiction, ultra virus jurisdiction. Ultra virus jurisdiction means that they never had the jurisdiction in the first place. That means that the judge is operating beyond his authority. All of them are operating beyond their authority. However, I want you to know up front, suing is not a cheap matter, but it's worth it when it comes to our rights and the reservation of our lives and our families and our loved ones. But what you say to the code enforcers shall build the foundation for a counterclaim against their bogus lawsuit later in court. Nevertheless, if you are given a ticket, which is a summons, a lawsuit, you must always sign it in your Hebrew name with these words: without prejudice, UCC 1-308, under threat, coercion, and duress, TCD for short. One thing I would like for you all to remember is that we are not a sovereign citizen. We are a sovereign Israelite dual American national republic. So if you are ever asked by the corporate code enforcers if you are a sovereign citizen, the answer is no. You are a sovereign Israelite dual American national republic. For years, professionals within the criminal justice system has acted on the belief that traveling by automobile was a privilege that was given to the people only after approval by their state government in the form of a permit or a license to drive. In other words, we must be granted the privilege before we can use the state highways was considered lawful. Legislators, code enforcers, and court officials are becoming aware that there are court decisions that disprove the belief that traveling is a privilege and therefore requires government approval in the form of a license. But we as sovereign Israelites, dual American national republics, must stand up to enforce these rights. It cannot be stated more directly or conclusively that sovereign Israelite dual American national republics of the states have a common law right to travel without approval or restriction of a license, and that this right is protected under the United States of America Constitution. The right to travel is part of the liberty of which cannot be deprived without due process of law under the Fifth Amendment. The right to travel, to go from place to place as the means of transportation permit as is a neutral right subject to the rights of others and to reasonable regulations of the law. A restraint imposed by the government upon this liberty, therefore, must conform with the provisions of the Fifth Amendment, that no person shall be deprived of liberty without due process of law, that we as a sovereign nation of Israelites, dual American national republics, must unite to enforce. The first of such questions may very well be this: if the federal and state governments have been enforcing laws that are unconstitutional on their face, it would seem that there must be some way that a state can lawfully put restrictions such as licensing requirements, mandatory insurance, vehicle registration, vehicle inspection, to name just a few, on the people's constitutionally protected right. Is that so? The federal and state government cannot diminish rights of the people. Statutes that violate the plain and obvious principles of a common right and common reason are null and void. Would we not say that judicial decisions are straight to the point, that there is no lawful method for government to put restrictions or limitations on rights belonging to we sovereign Israelite dual American national republics? The assertion of federal rights, when plainly and reasonably made, is not to be defeated under the name of local practice. Where rights secured by the Constitution are involved, there can be no rulemaking or legislation which would abrogate them. The claim and exercise of constitutional rights cannot thus be converted into a crime, because this is what they're doing when they stop you for a civil infraction. The right of we sovereign Israelite dual American national republics to travel upon the public highways and to transport our private property thereon, in the ordinary course of life and business, is a common right, which we as sovereign Israelite dual American national republics have under our right to enjoy life and liberty, to acquire and possess property, and to pursue happiness and safety. It includes the right in so doing to use the ordinary and usual conveyance of the day. And under the existing modes of travel includes the right to drive a horse-drawn carriage, a wagon thereon, or to operate an automobile thereon for the usual and ordinary purpose of life and business. It is not a mere privilege, like the privilege of moving a house in the street, operating a business stand in the street, or transporting persons or property for hire along the street, which a city may permit or prohibit at will. Israelites, we must unite. Now I'm going to open up the mic for questions. Please raise your hand by tapping on the word more with the 3 dots at the bottom of your screen, and then tap the raise hand button. Okay, Yashar'al, what's up, my brother?
How you doing, Elder?
All praise to the Most High. All praise to the Most High.
Khan. My question was about when you was speaking on the registration part. If I wanted to purchase an automobile, what is the method to go about that? Because usually a car lot wants to see, you know, they want approval. I'm supposed to go to the license branch after I leave the car lot in most situations.
Brother, you know what you do? Don't get one from a car lot. Purchase one from a private individual.
Okay.
Make sense?
That does. Yeah. That makes total sense.
Yeah, because they you know, you could take the car from them and put your Hebrew Israelite tags on them and just go. And there's no requirement to register it. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but when you go to a car lot, yeah, they're gonna have you to, you know, purchase a temporary tag and everything.
Right.
So, you know, just like if you purchase a gun, go to a privately owned person with a private gun. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Even if you got a felony, you know, you have a right to own a firearm under the Second Amendment, whether you're a felony or not. If you look at the Second Amendment, it doesn't say anything about being a felony. It does it?
No, I don't.
Okay, then. So where did they get all these other laws? They added it on. You see what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
See, but see, they charge you because you don't know no better. You know, the state of Indiana versus Yashar'al. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, what you got to do is, like, you know, get your identification, get your you know, like you got, you know, and be ready to countersue them if they bring a lawsuit against you. When I say lawsuit, I mean summons. A ticket can be a lawsuit. That's what they doing. They telling you to come to court because they just the police is bringing a lawsuit against you. But guess what? You didn't harm the police, so what kind of standing does he have? We're gonna go off and the next meeting is going to deal with we're going to be getting off into going to court now. You know what I'm saying? The situation where you done been arrested by the police. We'll get off into a jurisdiction. We'll get off to what's going to be done if you're arrested. So yeah. So when you're talking about getting a automobile, yeah, go to a private individual and buy it off a private individual. Private individual got just good as cars than the car lot does.
Right.
So
yeah,
that's your property. That's your automobile. It's not a motor vehicle. You know what a motor vehicle is, and you know what a driver is. You're not a driver. A driver is one who employed by the government. That's why they asking you for their information, their government license, identification.
yeah, I got it down here. Yep.
Okay, yeah, this is some good information, man.
Yeah, I take notes every time.
Huh?
I make sure I take notes.
All praises. You can always go back to the video though too. Also.
Yeah.
Anybody else got any questions? Zachariah, Yashar'al, Cannon, Great White. You know how to raise your hands, right? Okay, Great White, you gotta unmute yourself.
Shalom, Elder.
Shalom.
Yeah, the question I have, right? I told you my current situation,
Yeah.
and by me listening, like you know a lot, and but my current situation is I was depending on lawyers, and basically they kept playing games with me because I didn't know the law, and they've been selling me out the whole time. And every stage I went through, they kept selling me out until I started dealing with brothers back here. Like, bro, like I help you, you know what I'm saying? Let me show you, you know what I'm saying? So now I'm in the process doing a second PCR. And I just sent it out yesterday, certified mail. They said make sure you send out certified mail, make them sign for it. But the way South Carolina work is, you ever heard of them they doing like them flam indictments. Like they rubber stamping indictments, you know what I'm saying, where it's not going to grand jury. They're not taking us to the grand jury. They want to let us know who the grand jury is because it's bogus grand jury panel. It's all bogus charges. You know what I'm saying? Like lack of probable cause, everything. Like, and I'm trying to articulate a way that I can fight these people, but I'm battling the whole state because the attorneys, the prosecutors, and the judges all like stick together.
Yeah, well, you know what? As I stated before, we're going to get off into dealing with the court and everything in the next meeting. But as I stated before briefly, is that I don't know what state brought these charges against you, but I think you said something about you was dealing with drugs. I don't know, drugs, right?
Yeah, state of South Carolina.
Okay, state of South Carolina. It was the state of South Carolina versus you, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what kind of drugs were they?
Well, it was cocaine and crack.
Okay, but the issue is this, Hog, is that the state of South Carolina can't bring a claim against you. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't exist. See, but you don't understand. You don't know this. You don't know this because you can't put the state of South Carolina on the stand, can you?
No.
Yeah, that's right. So who brought the claim against you?
The state.
No, the state didn't. The police did, didn't they?
Oh yeah. The police, yeah.
Okay. So in order for there to be a crime, there must be a victim. So is the police a victim out?
No,
Then how did they bring a claim against you?
that's what I'm trying to figure out now. Like,
Exactly. Look. You know what? You got a right to due process, ain't that right?
correct,
And they said the state of South Carolina brought a claim against you, right?
correct.
Was you able to put the state of South Carolina on the stand to cross-examine the state of South Carolina?
Nope,
Then
not at all.
how did they convict you then? That means that your due process right was violated. The Sixth Amendment says you have a right to address your accuser. Who's your
Correct,
accuser? The police? Nah, the police
correct.
was the witness, right?
Yes,
The police was the witness on behalf of the state of South Carolina, right?
yes.
Okay, so what did you do to the police? They the one brought the charges against you, ain't they?
Yeah,
They brought the charges and filed it in court, didn't they?
yes,
And the prosecutor picked it up, right?
yes.
So what did you do to the prosecutor?
Nothing.
That's right, you ain't did nothing to the prosecutor. In order for there to be a crime, there must be a victim. What did you do to the police,
Nothing.
So who is the victim,
No victim.
There is no victim. See? It's just simple as that. It's called reverse psychology, So what I'm trying to tell you is that you are a corporation. You are a corporation that another corporation filed a complaint against. A corporation needs somebody else to help it. See what I'm saying? So the state of South Carolina had the police and the prosecutor to help you. You ain't did nothing to neither one of them. So that means they didn't have any standing. They're not the real party in interest, and they didn't have there was no crime committed. There's no victim. So you're in jail for nothing, The majority of our people are in jail for nothing. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
You know, that is just simple. That's why they killing more a lot of our people too, because we're so-called Black African Americans.
So, another question, like we don't have any people that practice law that could intervene and help out in any kind of
Brother,
way.
that's what this movement is all about, brother. You got to
All
join
right.
the movement. You got to join the movement. That's what this
All
is
right.
all about. I went to law school. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
But I didn't go to be. I went to actually to become an attorney. You know what I'm saying? But the Most High had other plans. I thought I was doing something, but I wasn't in control. The Most High had other plans for me. I was becoming the attorney for the Most High and for our people. You know what I'm saying? Not an attorney, but a representative for the Most High,
Okay.
an ambassador. You know what I'm saying? So what you're talking about is what we getting together for. We need
All right.
unity. We need unity. The only way we could do this is have unity together. We must come together. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So in other words, you must join the movement. You must get your declaration. You must get your identification and get in your proper status. Your proper status means you get out of that government status that you're in, that they convicted you under. You know what I'm saying? That's a corporation.
All
You know,
right.
what I speak to you is probably foreign. When I'm speaking, telling you is probably foreign. It makes a lot of sense. When you went to jail, you know, did they make you sign any documents before they took your fingerprints and picture?
Yeah.
Why do you think they did that?
To get my permission to probably get my permission to lock me up.
Exactly, to have you in their facility. Guess what? If the judge and the prosecutor said that they got a claim against you, guess what? They the ones supposed to hold you, not the jail. So the jail told you that, look here, we need you to sign these documents. Why? Because we don't have permission to have you in our facility. So therefore, if I refuse to sign those documents, that means that you kidnapped me. Ain't that right?
Correct.
See? Think about that, But but the problem is, do you have the courage to stand up for that and say, look here, I'm not giving you my property. Your fingerprints and your picture is your property. You know, but we also know that these people will try to force you to give it to them. They will do something to force you. But that's why we need unity to make sure that people who go to jail this don't happen to them. If you don't want to give up your property, you don't have to. You understand what I'm saying?
Correct.
But there's nobody to enforce it. There's nobody behind you. Huh? We need unity. We must have unity. Did I answer your question, not?
Yes, yes, shalom.
Okay. I got another brother that's got a question. Yakana. Shalom, Ak.
No. Okay, my question is on the subject, just like we declaring our nationality. Now, my personal vehicle registered. What I do about that? I just go down there and unregister it. But then again, my sister drive it when I ain't home. So elaborate on that one. The difference. Like when I'm there, can I just get the tag and switch the tag?
Yeah, you could just get it and switch it, huh?
Yeah,
You can just get it and switch it, just like that. You know what? You know what? What you do is you enforce it. You enforce it. When you come in contact with the police, you tell them, this is my privately owned automobile. You see what I'm saying?
Yep, because when I'm not there, my sister, she got my kids, so she need my car. So I have her with that way they won't bother her. But when I get there, that's when I enforce it.
That's right.
I say,
That's
hey,
right.
that's why remember I was asking you the other day about can I go down there and let them know, hey, I don't need to be bothered and pressured because this is me right here. So y'all see me, don't need to stop, don't bother me.
You could give them a notice up front, but you know,
Okay.
just be ready to deal with them. Maybe
Right.
messing with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but they can't mess with me if I give them notice up front.
Give them
So
notice up front. You could give them notice up front. You know,
that's
you could give write down this stuff. You know that go to this video, write down everything we said. You know, the definition of driver is an employee. You're not employed, are you? You don't use your automobile for employment, do you?
no, it's my automobile right here. This my
I know
phone
that's
right here.
your employed automobile, right? We're talking about your
Yeah.
privately owned automobile, though.
I'm gonna start leaving my CDLs in the truck. I don't even need them.
That's right. But you know what? You got another CDL too that goes with your. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm 3 corporations.
That's
but
right.
I'm 2 corporations.
And within one. That's right. You 3 corporations within one. That's right. See, all of this is like legalese, man. Play on words. You know what I'm saying? Yep. So, okay, hold on. You have any more questions out?
Good.
Okay. Shalom, Zachariah. What's up, my brother? Okay, hold on. My fault. Shalom, my brother.
Hey, shalom, man. Yeah, this is Akari. I got a question about Great White situation. Over there, like when he gets when he does his declaration, gets his IDs and everything, right? They already hold him, right? But he can basically countersue any police public servants involved, right? From the officers to the attorney, or the prosecutor to the judge, anybody, the clerks, everybody, right?
Yeah, he could countersue where he is right now. If he get his declare his nationality, get his identification, get his declaration, get power of attorney and stuff of that nature. He could refile stuff in court, on the grounds that for new information, on the grounds of new
Right.
information. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He could reopen the case. He could actually appeal. You know what I'm saying? He could reappeal his stuff and on the grounds of fraud. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
They committing fraud, man. You know, he ain't hurt nobody. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Anything could be reopened on the ground of fraud, man. Fraud never, the statute of limitation on fraud is never ending. Just like murder. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
So yeah, he could do that.
Yeah. And then he gets somebody else to do the get power of attorney over him, file everything and anything he can't file.
Yep.
Filed on his behalf.
File on his behalf. That's right. That's what I'm talking about. Unity, man. I mean, this is biblical. What we talking about? You know, we're talking about Isaiah. He said, "The power of the Most High is upon me to preach good tidings to the weak and the blind and to open the prison doors." The prison doors is supposed to open to all our people that's been convicted of a victimless matter. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's in prison for where there's no victim. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Okay.
Is there anybody else have any questions? Yashar'al, Yashar'al, what's up, brother?
Shalom.
Shalom, brother. How you doing? All praise to the Most High, brother.
All praise the Most High is another one, you know. Glad to be linking with family and seeing other brothers that's ready to take this stand. But boy, watch out. Many things, just trying to do the thing, you know, deal with the fam and trying to keep that spirit up and, you know.
That's
brothers,
right.
I know it's been a ride. It's a beautiful thing to say that you know, as other brothers coming to stand and take this righteous fight, you know, it depends. It depend on your location or who the oppressor is or who y'all dealing with. It's just that fortunately some of us have declared and have encountered the enemy, and they immediately was like, you know, that's lawful and, you know, go about your business. But taking this stand, man, we gotta be strong, bro. We gotta be ready for all these things, all these gems, these jewels that Elder's dropping on y'all, bro. He's dropping jewels to he girding y'all up, shall I say. He girding y'all up to deal with our oppressors, you know. Overall in experience, we just have to survive the encounter and make sure that everything that's been taught to us is you know, is articulated correctly out to them. And the rest is just standing, you know. The rest is standing. So, say what's up,
Shalom, little brother.
Shalom. Yeah. Yeah. You always come in. But all I can say to y'all fellas, bro, is we know Quam, bro. Quam and be strong, you know. Just Quam and be strong, you know.
That's right.
Y'all may not, you know. I truly believe it's just gonna depend on what kind of spirits or whatever, what kind of demons y'all encountering, where y'all located at. You know, I got a brother out here in Texas. Or whatever, and he's in the Houston area. And you know, he was able to test, you know, be a living testimony of what we doing. And that brother told me that he brought forth his identification, and he said, and he have no issues.
So this brother went through the declaration and
Yes.
identification process, right?
Yes, he went through the declaration. He went through the full process. He has his plates, his badge, his IDs, and all that on his private automobile. And immediately, he told me when he encountered the policeman, he stated that the policeman was kind of bothered or whatever. That the plates caught his attention, so he just wanted to know more about the plates, etc. But when he gave him his ID and he looked over the codes and everything that were on the ID and then on the plates itself, the policy enforcer looked him in his eyes and said, "This is lawful. And here's your ID, and okay, bye, sir. Have a nice day." I pray to the Most High. I wish I would experience that, and it was just been that smooth for me. But I've been standing. You know, my mind hasn't been that smooth, but I'm here with y'all, brothers, and we in this together, man. So
All praises to the Most High.
praise the Most High. You know, it is what it is.
Shalom, man.
So the more, like the other was saying, the more people, the more of us that come forth and it start being recognized in the court, you know, more and more and more.
Yeah.
You know, eventually someone high up are gonna be like, we already know what time of day it is. The chickens came home to roost. A lot of these people, they really knew, and it's in their law that all this belongs to us, bro. All this belongs to us. The heirs of the thrones have been cast to the ground, bro, because we don't know. All this belongs, but the people that's over us that have the money, print the money, own acres of land, the cattle, cows, see, man, they already know all this belongs to us. They know it, bro. And I'm not talking about only, well, that's where the most important place is really in the scriptures. That's the most important place. But I'm talking about for the carnal mind of our enemies, of the people that's over us, our oppressors, man, it's in people, man. It's in their law books, it's in their black and white. It belongs to us, bro. It really belongs to us. This is why the main reason of why our identities, you know, thus it was the curses. It was our forefathers' fault, or it was our fault, like some brothers would say. That we broke the law, statutes, and commandments. Yes, that is a fact. But what's also a fact is in they black and white, in they law, in they constitution, in they paperwork. This belongs to us, bro. They had to change or hide our identity and take everything from us. And it's in black and white, bro. It's in black and white. Not only in the Torah, like I first stated, not only in the Torah, which is most important in the living word, but it's in they black and white, bro. It belongs to us.
That's right. That's right. Is there anybody else that have anything to say? Okay. Well, I guess we could call this a wrap. You know, all praise to the Most High. I believe that we got some good information out, and we're gonna carry on with some more information Thursday. Let me see. Which will be the 31st and the last day of this month. And you know, we'll probably be talking about jurisdiction, what to do, you know, when the police arrest you, you know, how we going to counterclaim these people and things of that nature. So okay, Great White, one moment. Okay, Great White, you have a question?
Yes. Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh yeah, I was you were saying get my identification and stuff. I could do all that from back here.
You got it. Are you online? I mean, because you going I mean, it's you're gonna have to give donations for it. I mean, if you got somebody on the outside to take care of it for you.
Like that's what I say. Could you like send the information to me on Messenger or something? Like so I can read over it and see about my people, like my mom or somebody can
Well, what it
do that.
is that there's questions out that you got to answer. You know, there's questions before you even get any documents. There's questions that need to be answered before you know you get any documents and stuff like that. But I mean, I can send it. You got to give send me a friend request at my my new friend my page, my new page.
The one you
you
messing
know, it,
the one you messing me off of?
I don't think I don't know. Let me see. Yeah, you my friend, right?
No, we on Messenger, but I can get to your page from Messenger though, that same page you messaged me from.
Yeah. Well, what name is on Messenger? You see,
The name that's on Messenger,
is it three names or just two?
I'm thinking it's three.
What it say? And so I got my middle name on it too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Adonai.
Well, yeah, you send me a friend request through that at that name,
All right.
and then
I'm gonna do that right now.
I'll give you the paperwork. I mean the questions that you need to answer, and we'll go from
All
there
right.
in regards to the process.
All right, that's it.
Okay, you sent. Okay, you sent it. Okay, then I'll after we get off, I'll get that information to you.
Oh, praise.
Yeah. So, is there any more questions? Do we have any more questions? Anybody? Okay, we're gonna wrap this up. It's 11:38. We're gonna wrap it up, and I'll say shalom to everybody. Glad you made it. You know, I hope that you took something away from this information. You know, it can't do nothing but get better. You know, all we got to do is come together to implement this, to enforce these rights that we have. You know, that's all we have to do, and get more people to come and and join in. So I'm gonna say good night to all of you and shalom. I love you all in the Most High, Be'Shem Yeshaya and Ruach, the Holy Spirit. And y'all have a nice good night. Shalom.